Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis coming to you from the Drew Estate Studio. With me today is Jiunn, Seth, Geist, John McTavish. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Doing well, man. Got my beanie on, got my toque on because snowpocalypse is hitting. We got. If you follow Frankie on YouTube, he's a hoot. He called us and warned us yesterday that there's a huge amount of snowstorm coming. I don't know if you guys know Frankie on YouTube,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
he's pretty entertaining.
All right. So today we are talking about the Southern Draw Rose of Sharon Desert Rose Lonsdale. A cigar is 6-inch by 44 ring gauge. Comes out of the Tabacalera AJ Fernandez factory in Nicaragua. Wrapper is Ecuadorian Cloud Grown Claro. Binders from Nicaraguan Habano. Filler is Dominican Piloto Cabano and Honduran Corojo 99. Blended by Robert Holt. Price point is $9.99, and the cigar was released in October of 2020. So that all out of the way, June. What was your overall experience like with this cigar?
I thought this was overall average. I did not like it, not nearly as much as the last one. The last one was that like box press torpedo, right?
Yeah, like a Bellicoso Fino style.
Bellicose. Yep. Um, they're actually quite different profiles. I feel like within that cigar and this cigar. So the main part of kind of why I thought it was pretty mediocre. This was a really dry cigar for me. So in the first third of it, that there's this like full tannins, dry leather thing going on. But it kind of complemented everything else that was going because there was also like some nice creaminess to it. There's like a mild game kind of a note to it. But as the cigar went through, it just got drier and drier and more leathery and just more tannins to just like completely coat my tongue. And even like I got done with the cigar like 15 minutes after that. I was like, all right, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna write up my overall experience. And it was still like super dry on my palate. So I don't know I don't know what that tobacco was in here that made me taste that, but it was not pleasant. So this was usually I was looking forward to this purely based upon the last release, but this is by far uh, the worst the worst one of the two.
All right, Seth, what were your thoughts
I love that he said it's the worst one of the
of the
two.
two?
Of the two, worser of the two.
Like I have all two of them.
Yeah.
This is the bad one. Um, listen, I thought this was an average cigar. Um, to me, it reminded me more of Rose of Sharon rather than the Desert Rose, and I feel like that. It's. I'll get into that later. I mean, it's just I was getting some nutty qualities, leather, hay, um, some pepper. It just kind of remained consistent throughout. Burn and draw though were fantastic. This was a well constructed, perfectly drawn Lonsdale. But just kind of a continuous classic flavor profile.
All right, John, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll get into the comparison in our post wrap up, but I enjoyed it. Overall, it was good for me. I got a lot of sort of deserted qualities, which reminds me of the original powdered cocoa, dry cedar, creamy baking spices, a little bit of a candy sweetness, kind of mid palate, and that kind of carried through into the second third, although tannins sort of pushed through about the halfway point, offsetting that sweetness. And then baking spices spiked in the second third, which is surprising, so kind of more intense. And then the last third kind of lost a little bit of that oomph. Is more dry cedar, a little bit of acrid earth pushed through, some mild bread, but overall last third for me was pretty average. I smoked two of these and I had an interesting comparison and construction. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the first one did not meet the standards of excellence that we're used to out of AJ's factory. I had relight while puffing on the cigar, and burn issues, and a draw issue, which I think is probably related, where the draw was a little on the tight side, and the second one I lit up was perfect. So the score I've given for burn and draw is sort of a blending of the two, but I think we can reasonably say the one thing that AG does well is he constructs cigars pretty much perfectly. So I'm going to assume that first cigar was just that 1 out of 10,000 that's, the dud, and the second one was pretty perfect. Aaron, what was your overall experience like?
Yeah, for me, the cigar started fairly mellow, but as some black pepper joined in and built up in the second third, it became a little bit more of a balanced profile. Final third dropped back down a little bit as the toast level and the black pepper increased and created kind of a heavier profile altogether. I would put this new Vitola on par with the original release of the Desert Rose, but I still don't think it matches up with the Rose of Sharon Toro provides. If you're a fan of the original Desert Rose, definitely give this a shot. Probably find something very similar to what you had with that. I might come back to this on occasion. I had a bit of a burn issue with mine. I had a couple relights, so there was two in 10,000, John. So, but original Rose of Sharon would be where I'd spend my time. All right, let's get into the scores. Start at the top with John at 6.42. Jiunn and Seth both gave it a 6.10. I gave it a 5.80. So, John, how'd that 6.42 match up for you?
Sounds right. I think it would have scored probably exactly 6.5 if the construction would have been perfect. But like I said, I had a bit of a draw and burn issue with the first sample. Overall it was good.
All right, Jiunn, 6.10.
6.10 is average. No, not going anywhere in the top 25 list. And moving on, 2021.
All right, Seth, 6.10.
Yeah, listen, I thought it was average. I thought this didn't make me think of the Desert Rose. This made me think more of the Rose of Sharon. And I feel like the wrapper was even more of a Rose of Sharon. I like the size. It wasn't a bad cigar, but to me, it's the Desert Rose. I remember it being better. I enjoyed it more. And this just doesn't have that profile, I feel like.
My 5.8 matches up well. This is one of those odd cigars where the first third was average and the second third was good. So that's kind of doesn't happen very often, but it's always interesting when I see that. So it's a slightly above average flavor profile, a bit of a burn issue. If I didn't have the burn issues, I'd be right, probably tied up with Jiunn and Seth at 6.1. So, yeah, I mean, it's a decent cigar. But like I said, I'd go back to the original Rose of Sharon first. Final thoughts.
Yeah.
It was a desert in my mouth. Huh.
There you go.
I went back to the vault and looked at my notes on the original review, the Bellicoso size, and I think it's just, and Coop talks about this all the time. There's just like the shade type blend. I think sometimes just works much better in a larger ring gauge than it does in a smaller ring gauge, and that's certainly been my experience. I think the tobaccos are so subtle that as soon as you start pulling them out to make the Lonsdale, it just kind of loses that little special something, which isn't to say it's a bad cigar. But I remember lighting up the Bellicoso and like right off the hop, I was like, oh, this is something special. So
I scored this better than the Bellicoso, and for some reason I like the Bellicoso more, so I don't.
what's going on with you, man?
Different year, man. Different year, different Seth.
Yeah.
Different, yeah.
Yeah.
Tunas change every year.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Maybe you should revisit that. Maybe you'll find you really like it.
Weren't they? I thought they were limited.
The original, the Bellicoso?
Yeah.
I'm sure one of us can find one for you. That we
I'm
have in our
sure we can
stash.
find it.
No, don't look. Don't look. Don't look.
You see, we have many cigars.
I don't need that.
All right. If you just catch this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us. We'll also check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Follow us on all the social media channels, and you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts. So iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.